Welcome everybody to a special edition of PCTV Reports. We are doing a full hour-long hometown sports report where we are taking a look back at Park City High School fall sports. And who better knows Park City High School fall sports than the man who covered it all fall, our hometown sports reporter, Nick O'Kane.
How's it going, Conrad?
Dude, thanks for joining me.
Of course,
this is awesome.
I know, right? It's cool that we finally get to do this.
I know. So, just to give a kind of brief intro, what was it like covering the Park City High School sports this fall? Because they were very successful.
It was a great semester. The athletes were amazing all across the board. There was 5 major sports. We had football, volleyball, golf, women's soccer, and women's tennis. And every single one of them made it to the playoffs, and 4 of the teams actually made very far runs and even 1 state champion. So it was a blast for me to go out and to get to know the kids, the coaches, the families, and just being part of the entire environment as well as atmosphere.
That's awesome. So right now we're going to take a quick look at the sports reel of some of Nick's favorite moments from this fall. So that was a broad look at the sports this fall at Park City High School. Now, Nick, I got to ask you.
Yes.
What was your favorite sport to cover?
You know, it was pretty interesting all year long being able to go out and check out every sport. But for me, honestly, women's volleyball was ecstatic. The state playoff tournament in Orem at UVU was so much fun. And the adversity that the girls had to face going against some of the best teams in the state, as well as how they performed. It was one of the most fun days that I've had working here with Park City TV.
Now, I'm new to Utah. I'm new to this area. I grew up in California. Is Park City known as a sports school, or is it just kind of, something they offer there?
And it's been interesting over the years, growing up in Utah, playing against Park City in a lot of different sports, it's different. And I think that's how every school is. There's going to be some sports that, that are better than the others. But for this fall, Park City was a powerhouse in almost every single sport. Like I said, making it to either the semifinals or the championship in 4 of the 5 sports. So it was amazing to see how well every team performed throughout the fall.
And what was your mindset going into this? Because I know Park City, we had the Olympics here. We had the Olympics in Salt Lake City. Yep. We had some pretty high-profile athletes in Park City. To cover high school sports, they're not, we're not having Zion Williamson at our school right now.
Right.
Well, were you kind of like, okay, this is going to be fun, or were you more ecstatic to go into it? Because I know you played high school sports too.
Of course, yeah. And like I said, growing up in Utah and knowing what Park City sports was about, it was a good little lead-in, but I did not know the type of emotion and heart that a lot of these teams put in. And like I said, for teams like golf, who's won 11 straight state championships, and how hard they train, and Matt Carlson pushing his volleyball girls, and the women's soccer team with the amazing performance, and Coach Montzingo with the football team was one of the most impressive things I've seen all year. I don't really think anyone saw them coming into this season as having a successful season, and making it all the way to the state semifinals was one of the most proud achievements he could have had for himself and his players.
I remember, hosting PCT reports, you coming in, you talking about how good all the sports did, and even watching the Hometown Sports Report. It was awesome hearing about how well these high school teams are doing.
Constant success.
Yeah, which is awesome. And speaking of the football, we're going to take a bigger look at football, go more in depth into it after this quick commercial break and a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to PCTV Reports, everybody, on this special edition, an hour-long Hometown Sports Report, where I am joined by our sports reporter, Nick O'Kane. So we just saw a broad overview of the fall sports at Park City High School.
Yep.
We were talking about the 5 major ones: volleyball, golf, tennis, soccer, football. Now we're going to take a look at football, and they exceeded expectations.
100%.
And I remember, when you were first covering it, it seems like they had high hopes. I think going into sports, you always have high hopes.
Of course.
But I don't think they saw exactly what was going to happen.
Oh yeah, I've been with them from the first day that they even put on pads in the summer, and when they started hitting 2-a-days and practicing and just going over the offense and defense, and a lot of their worries was we're not going to have the size. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of scared them in the beginning, but they knew that their speed was going to make up for it, and the game plan that Coach Montzingo had for his offense and defense just played out, and it worked. They had an interesting start to the season. They had an interesting first game, which was considered a forfeit against Wasatch, which they lost, and then they got blown out at home against Logan, and people were kind of getting a little worried, after a not great season last year, not even making playoffs or having a winning record. I think a lot of people were kind of getting that mindset of, here we go again. But they get that first win at South Summit, who actually was the 2A state champions, and everything just turned from there. The offense started clicking, defense started clicking, everyone just came together as a team, and you could see that every game they got better and better and better.
And you hit on the size there a few seconds ago, and I remember when I was at South Tahoe High School, we had probably 25 guys on the team. So guys were playing both sides. Mm-hmm. We weren't tall at all. I was one of the biggest dudes, and I was 5'8", $140 in high school. I remember us going to the market one time, and the guys were in there getting breakfast after one of their 2 days, and they saw you, and they're like, okay, and they're super excited to see you. And I remember them standing up and me going, they're not big at all.
No, and I love those guys so much, and it really was a pleasure to be able to get out there and talk to them. And for me personally, I don't really consider myself, I am a sports reporter, but I like to get to know the guys more than just them being football players. I like to know about how their personal lives are doing, how they're, how they're doing in school and everything like that. So it was really great for me to get to know these kids, just because when it made me talking to them, it just made it way more comfortable. And they really were an amazing group of guys. And not only that, a young group of guys, only graduating very few seniors and bringing back the main core from this team into next year. So who can only can imagine better things.
And then that's cool that they have a bright future. And I remember, us in the editing bay and you asking Chloe Johnson, who went to Park City High School, when was the last time you guys were good at football? And she's like, we weren't. So to have this success that they had.
Yep.
and you to cover this season. It's special.
Oh, yeah. And you could tell by the times that I would talk to Coach Josh Monzingo, you know, he was a little nervous coming into the year. He knew the hard times that he faced last year and, you know, was a little nervous coming in. But after that 4th or 5th game, it was just all smiles from there. He was so proud of his team from start to end. And you could see it after the games, too, and the emotion that he put into his post-game speeches and how bought in this team was. Every single kid bought into what he had to say. And it was a great unit for the entire season. And it shows. And I couldn't be more proud of the guys.
And we've been talking about the success. We have a clip right now. What are we going to be seeing in the clip?
We are going to see a little interview with Coach Josh Monzingo after a big playoff win, as well as some highlights of their playoff run all the way to the state semifinals at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
So here's a look at Park City High School football.
Right now I am with head coach Josh Monzingo after a amazing win for the boys here at Park City, 28-24 over Salem Hills. They were down in the 4th quarter, but they kept fighting. What were you telling them to keep their head straight and to keep going?
You know, we've been talking about discipline, so we just wanted to stay disciplined. Stay disciplined, let them make some mistakes, keep making our plays, and we'll get that one block, it'll spring one, and sure enough, Mark sprung that one, and there we go.
And now there was a few little mistakes earlier on in the beginning, but the defense really picked it up towards the end of the game, and they just played with their heart out. Big 4th down stops, just absolutely won it for the team there in the 4th quarter. You know, what do you have to say about the defense?
Yeah, I mean, give that other team credit there. Salem Hills, that's a big, strong, well-coached team, and they came out with a good plan, and our D coordinator did an unbelievable job adjusting. He found what we needed to plug the holes with, did it, and the guys just rallied and played really hard.
Now, this is new to Park City, especially with the 4A. Hosting a playoff game and getting a win, how does it feel to know that this team has come so far in the last year to have that home playoff win and to keep going in the playoffs?
Feels amazing. It feels like the guys are getting validated for all that hard work. You know, it's a long off season. There's a lot of work in the summer, and all that time and everything they sacrificed for is all worth it. And I just love watching them enjoy this and have their moment. They deserve it.
Well, we cannot wait to head out to Skyview next weekend, and best of luck to you, Coach. And we, of course, we can't wait to see what this team has to have for the future.
Thank you.
All right, there. So we just saw a preview of Park City High School football's run into the playoffs, and that interview with the coach was right after their first playoff victory.
Yes. So they took on Salem Hills. They had a home matchup, which was amazing to see. They, like I said, they didn't make the playoffs the year before. So to have and also a lot of people don't realize they came from 3A 2 years ago. So that was a really hard adjustment. You know, you're playing much bigger and better schools. So within 2 years to have a home playoff game was pretty amazing. So, and that Salem Hills game was outstanding. It had everything. It had big hits, interceptions, long runs. Mark McCurdy was just a freak the whole game. He played receiver. He played running back. He played defense. He was on the corner on defense.
He was playing both sides of the ball in every position.
He had 3 touchdowns and an interception.
That's
which
insane.
He was just a monster. And I actually remember there was a moment in the game. They were down by 4. They were in the 4th quarter, and I look at Mark, and he looks at me and he goes, "If we get the ball, I'm scoring." That first play, he gets that little shovel pass. It's gone for 68 yards. To the house, ends up being the game-winning touchdown. And what does he do? He gets the game-winning pick to end the game, too.
I mean, and we were watching those highlights, and there was a throw to the back corner of the end zone. And I mean, that's stuff that, like, you see on NFL play, the professional play, and to see that play from Park City High School. I remember watching that when we first saw, the playoff success, and I was like, dude, that was beautiful. That was a beautiful pass, beautiful setup. It was great.
You could see the connection that was there between starting quarterback Jack Skidmore and Mark McCurdy. He found him all year long. That was his main receiver, his main target, and his go-to guy. And then, of course, Dylan Bauer, the running back, he was he was the guy when the season first started. I think everyone really relied on Dylan, and he got them to where they needed to be. And then everyone else started to chipping in. Paul Baines on the receiving end, Andrew Pedersen on the defensive end, even Ben Napier, son of our own Christine Napier, was, even as a sophomore, he played amazing minutes throughout the year. So you could see that the players really stepped up their whole year long. So, and which helped, because after Salem Hills win, they went on to take on Skyview. Now this was interesting. Skyview was coming in as considerably the number 1 team in 4A, tied with Orem.
Okay.
They hadn't lost all year. They've only lost 1 game in 2 years. The game was at Skyview High School, and it was just a brawl from beginning to end. And I'm not just saying that because there was a brawl.
Yeah, there was a literal
game,
brawl in the game.
But the defense was. They stopped Skyview, which was one of the highest scoring offenses in the state, not just in 4A, but in the state of Utah. And Park City shut them down. And you could see in one of the clips was actually a 2-point conversion made to Mark McCurdy, which ended up being the 1-point win for Park City, 15-14.
And I mean, we're talking about Park City being the underdogs this whole time.
Not even just an underdog, David and Goliath.
Yeah, and then unfortunately it wasn't a fairy tale ending. Realism hit.
Yep.
They, for lack of a better word, didn't show up at the end, but
They went off to Rice Cycle Stadium. They took on a great Dixie team, and they did get shut out. But that doesn't mean that the seniors put out an amazing year and just showed everything that they had for football.
Well, football was super exciting. And now, guys, we're going to take another break. But when we come back, we're going to be taking a look at Park City's high school volleyball run. And boy, was it outstanding. So stay tuned for a look at volleyball. Welcome back, everybody, to this special episode of PC TV Reports, where we are doing a full hour-long look back at Park City High School's fall sports and how successful they were. And before we get into volleyball, we do have a correction to make.
Yes, my apologies. I mentioned back in the football clips, but it's not Ben Napier. It is actually Parker Napier. So he ended up having a great sophomore season with football.
But Ben's a great name, too.
Yeah,
so if Ben Napier's out there, you did great, man. So anyways, we're moving on to volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I think this was probably the most hype out of all the sports because, I mean, just how exciting everything was and how intense the ending was. But let's start at the beginning.
Yep.
Is Park City a volleyball team?
100%. So I talked to the head coach as well as the girls before the season started, and I asked them what are their goals for this year's team. And none of them said state championship. None of them said to go to college, anything like that. They said their goal is to make Park City a volleyball school. They want Park City to be known as when you go to Park City, you play volleyball. And I even talked to Matt Carlson. He had over 60 girls try out for the team. First of all, that's more than football, which is amazing. Yeah. So he actually got 4 teams out of it. He had a freshman, sophomore, JV, and varsity team, which is amazing to see so many girls wanting to get out there, be active, and play, and just shows that this team is going to be amazing for years to come. And not only that, they were last year's state 4A champions.
I mean, and you just said they were last year's state champions. For them to come in and not be like, oh, you know, we're not going to win champion. We just want this to be a volleyball school. Do you need, I mean, I feel like you need to be very confident in yourself, but to not be too big-headed is huge. And it sounds like the girls were very realistic, but yet very confident in themselves.
And the one thing that I could say about this team was how mature they were. Every situation, they didn't get down on themselves. They didn't yell at each other. They were very mature about every situation. And every time they were down, they picked each other up and were ready to keep going.
Now, we're going to take a look at the girls at the championship playoffs.
Yes, down at the UCCU Center in Orem for the 4A state semifinals and finals. So it was an amazing journey for those girls. They started out with their first game against Lehigh. And I'll tell you right now, I was a reporter on the sideline, and I had the chills the whole game.
You became a cheerleader, I heard.
Essentially, I was almost cheering on every point, and I'm looking at the athletic director, Jamie Sheets, and me and him are just like, whoa,
now,
this is a game.
This game went 2 hours?
Over 2 hours for a 5-set thriller, which is exhausting.
So, I know football's like 3 hours, baseball, 3 hours.
Yeah.
Volleyball going 2 hours, is that just absurd?
Well, when you think about in football, you make a play, you get a few seconds.
You go to the
rest.
huddle, yeah.
You take a break. These girls were going non-stop. They very rarely got a break, and with volleyball, you want to keep your core girls in, so you really are only having from 6 to 9 girls. You know, you're not subbing in offense, defense. You are there from beginning to end, and those girls grinded it out against Lehigh. They ended up losing the first set. And I don't think they were ready for how good Lehigh was. They were big, they were athletic. They had 3 girls over 6 feet that could just absolutely hit the ball so hard. So I think that kind of shocked them. And second set, they adjusted. They started playing way more defensively, letting Lehigh making mistakes, and it worked out because they ended up winning the second set. Third set, they kind of almost went a little too defensively and kind of got in their own heads. Lehigh took that. Fourth set, they got back to their normal routine. Grace Wiechek, she is an absolute animal. She was a beast all season long and just showed it was kill after kill, spike after spike. She was amazing. And then Emily Smith, she is going to University of Utah on full ride scholarship next year as a setter, and she was deceiving everything out of Lehigh. So she was just amazing in that game. And then after the Lehigh game, they had a quick turnaround and had to take on Skyview, which was actually the #1 team, and while Park City was #2. And you could just tell the girls were tired.
They were exhausted after that because, I mean, they went 2 hours straight, and not just physically, but emotionally battling. And then they had to take on the #1 dog.
And one of the biggest things, too, was Lehigh, they brought a whole school to that game.
Yeah, it was close to their, it was almost home turf for them.
Yeah, it was within a mile away. So they had their whole school. The adversity was just not in Park City's favor, but their heart was just poured out there and just showed how impressive of a team that was and how well Matt Carlson, the head coach, coached those girls to victory.
I mean, it was awesome. It was an awesome year. Congratulations to girls volleyball. Although you did not win the championship, you still, you know, the effort you put into it, the heart you showed, the spirit you showed is beyond anything that we pretty much saw all year, maybe except for football, but hey. It's all great, guys, at high school football and sports. So, guys, we have to take another commercial break, but when we come back, we have plenty more fall coverage of Park City High School sports. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this special episode of PCTV Reports, where we're doing a full hour-long hometown sports report where we're taking a look back at the fall season for Park City High School sports. And we are joined by our sports reporter, Nick O'Kane, right now.
Woo, welcome, everyone.
So we talked about football.
Yep.
Talked about volleyball.
Yes.
We're moving on to women's tennis.
Yes.
So we talked about how Park City High School is a volleyball school.
Yep.
Now they seem to be more of a football school.
Yep.
What's up with the tennis program?
Also, again, another powerhouse.
Okay.
4A state champs the year before, and actually 3 of the last 4 years they were state champs as well. And they returned the 2 main pieces, which were the Rockwood Twins.
Okay.
And these girls are the stars of Park City tennis. They have been the #1 and 2 singles the entire 4 years at Park City, so they've been the best player for all 4 years.
Yeah.
And they did not disappoint for this final senior year.
So is the tennis singles, doubles? What's going on with tennis?
Yep.
Yeah.
So how it works with team tennis is you get a 1 singles, 2 singles, a 3 singles, and then a 1 doubles, and then a 2 doubles.
Okay.
And so you have basically 5 components. And when you get to the state tournament, all 5 play, and as each person wins or each doubles win, you get a certain amount of points.
Okay.
So, and the Thursday round of the state tournament, all those matches were worth 1 point, and the Saturday rounds were worth 2 points. So that's kind of how the breakdown for points goes regarding who's going to win the team titles.
And then how did they do during the regular season?
They were amazing. They finished undefeated in region, and they only lost 1 match the whole year.
One match the whole year.
Yep, they were unstoppable all throughout 4A all year long, and they knew that when they got to the state tournament, they were going to see Desert Hills was going to be a powerhouse. They're from St. George, and Ridgeline from Logan, Utah. Those were going to be the big schools that they were going to have to compete against.
So we actually have a clip of you talking to the Rockwood Twins at the state
Oh, yeah.
championships.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go take a look at tennis right now.
So something I'm most excited about this tournament is that this is my 4th year being here, and I've made so many friends here, and the team is just like all my sisters, and I love the coaches so much. So I think it's just like I'm really excited for the upcoming freshmen and the people on our team to have the same experience that I had, and to just meet all these amazing people and have these great experiences that I have had these past 4 years. Hi, my name is Gabby Rockwood. I am the 2nd singles player on Park City, and we are at the 4A State Championships at Liberty Park. It's the first day of states, and we have just gotten on our way. And our goals for this state tournament are pretty just play hard, work hard, and we're hoping for the state title this year.
And of course, these were all clips from the state tournament, as well as some other clips that I've gotten throughout the season with women's tennis. So,
Okay, so we saw the volleyball and football unfortunately not get that storybook ending.
Yep.
How did tennis do?
and sadly, it was not the storybook ending as well, but the final day for the state tournament was one of the most exciting moments that I've had with Park City TV.
Okay.
They came in thinking they had no chance. Both doubles teams were eliminated on the Thursday before the championships, and they only had their 3 singles left, which was Libby Rockwood at the first singles, Gabby Rockwood second singles, and then Brooklyn Thompson on the third singles. And they really just thought, the season was over. But as other girls from other teams started losing, they started thinking, okay, maybe we got a chance, And then all 3 of those girls actually made it to the state championships for their individual titles. Libby Rockwood took on a girl from Ridgeline, and she was actually one of the best women's tennis players I've ever seen in my life. She has full ride scholarships to just about any SEC schools that she wants. So Libby did not fare as well. But Gabby Rockwood took on a girl from Desert Hills, which she won handedly in 2 straight sets. So she was the state champion for the second singles. But the most important girl of the weekend was Brooklyn Thompson. Brooklyn is a very shy girl, but she was a beast all weekend long, and she took on such a hard challenge, and she didn't even know it. And that was by the time that she had her championship match against the girl from Ridgeline, it was laid out that the winner of that match was going to be the state champion.
Okay.
For the team titles.
Okay.
And she did not know that going in. She was a little nervous just for herself. So, but she loses the first set very easily. You could tell she was a little nervous. And in the second set, she actually starts going down, and then something just sparked. And
she just got that edge.
And she just got that fire, and her coach was pumping her up, and all of her teammates and her family and her mom and everyone was right there behind her, just rooting for her. And she made a huge comeback, winning the second set, and the third set was neck and neck. And I'm talking, this was an hour-and-a-half long tennis match, and which
is insane.
That is a very long, for a 3-set match, that is very long. And she just put her heart on the line, and sadly, it did not finish in her favor, but she did whatever she could to make sure Park City Tennis had all the chances of winning the state title. So, but hey, second place is amazing, and the girls were just so fun to watch all year long.
I mean, we've had great stories all year so far in Park City High School sports, and we still have more great stories coming up, including the one championship sport at Park City High School. But we're going to have to see what that's going to be after these commercial breaks. Welcome back, everybody, to PCTV Reports in an hour-long special Hometown Sports Report. I'm joined by Nick O'Kane, the man who covered everything you're going to see and you have seen. And right now, we're going to talk about women's soccer.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I've been talking about whether Park City High School is a sports school.
Oh, yeah.
You said they were in volleyball, they were in tennis. How do they fare in soccer? Because growing up in Tahoe, that's what we were known for, was soccer.
Yep.
How does Park City fare?
So soccer, they are an amazing team. They finished last year in the state semifinals, losing to Bonneville, which would go on to the state championships. But the girls were amazing this whole year. There were several times throughout the season where in the beginning of the year, they started losing a few games here or there, and they were kind of getting down on some. It was very similar like football. And as soon as they got to region, the girls just were on fire. And they just picked everything back up, and the girls were all supportive of each other, and all the seniors were just the absolute leaders that they needed. And they had an amazing season, and eventually finishing 12-5 overall in the year and 11-1 in region, winning the Region 11 title, actually sharing it with Bonneville, but winning the outright with the the head-to-head tiebreaker.
And right now we're going to take a look back at some of the women's highlights from soccer.
So the girls had an amazing year, like I said, and they were actually able to get all the way to hosting for a playoff spot.
And unfortunately, hosting was not enough, though.
Sadly, no. It was actually, I don't know if a lot of people remember, it was the first major snowstorm in Park City.
Back in like October 5th or 6th,
it was
around
that
there?
first major snowfall, and I think that messed with the girls' heads a little bit. They hadn't played in snow all year long, and I guess you could say it was the same for Lehigh High School. But Lehigh came in and they had a good game plan, and they took out Park City as the #1 seed.
I mean, to give up as the #1 seed, it's terrible.
It was a little sad, but that doesn't not highlight how great these girls played throughout the year. There was actually a moment in the year where they were playing Bonneville High School, and they had lost in the first game that they played them. Apparently there was a not so great call in overtime, which allowed Bonneville a penalty kick, and they won the first game. So they knew that to win region, they were going to have to beat Bonneville, and if they beat them by 1, they were going to tie for region. But if they beat them by 2 goals, that they were going to win region. So they actually went down to Bonneville High School and won 2-0. It was actually home. It was home against Bonneville, and they won 2-0. And that was the game that won them the region, which was just amazing because that's another trophy right there.
I mean, and we've been saying, we look at Park City High School football, how they were the underdogs. So, I mean, we've already seen underdog stories in this show. unfortunately, you know, when you're the top dog, the underdog does sometimes come in, and that's what happened to the high school.
And sometimes it does happen, but you know, I see the girls around school all the time and they keep their heads up and they know that they're going to have a great team for years to come. Again, they have a large program from sophomore, JV, all the way to varsity, over 3 teams with over 40 plus girls. So I know that they are going to bounce back and be right back in there next year in contention for another state title.
So, I mean, next year they're still probably looking like the favorites.
Absolutely. And they have great coaching.
All right, guys, so now we have to take another commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to be looking at the one sport that did win the championship, and spoilers, it actually wasn't much of a shock, but we have the story with Nick about that after these words from our sponsors. Welcome back, everybody, to this Hometown Sports Report hour-long show on PCTV Reports. I'm your host, Conrad Jacobels, joined by co-host and Hometown Sports reporter, Nick O'Kane.
I'm having a blast. This is awesome.
So we're in the latter part of the show.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about Park City High School's men's golf.
Yes, sir. The state champions for Park City High School.
Not one. Not two, not three. Okay, we're going to have to be skipping quite a few to get to 11.
Just so you know, I can't even count them on my 2 hands.
Yes. I mean, it's 11 straight.
11 straight.
Okay. So we were talking about Park City football, how they were kind of the underdogs. We're talking about volleyball and how, they had this great story. They were kind of powerhouse. And, we've seen tennis. They had the Rockwood sisters powerhouse. Even women's soccer was a powerhouse. Golf is the powerhouse at Park City.
When you play against Park City Golf, you're shaking in your boots because you know that they are the best team in the state and they are most likely going to win state.
I mean, to say 11 times in a row that they've won it.
It's pretty insane.
So what was it like covering the men's golf? Because, I mean, you're coming in and you're probably sitting there going, guys, if you don't win, you're broken the chain of a decade.
And when I talked to a lot of the guys, that was kind of their big thing. It's not, oh, we're doing this to win another. It's like, we're doing this so we're not the team that loses.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you were like, we don't want to be the ones that are known for breaking the tradition.
And what's cool about this team is a lot of the players have had past brothers and siblings and anything like that has played. And there's that pressure, I can't let the older sibling down. I got to win this to show that we belong.
And we actually have some clips and interviews, right?
Yes, sir.
With the golf team. So what are we going to be looking at in these clips?
So we're just going to see some clips of the guys out on the range hitting, as well as talking to Eli Kimchi, who is one of the star juniors, as well as Jack Wright, who is a senior captain for the team.
You are a 3-time state champion, so what could possibly be your favorite highlight with Park City men's golf?
Oh man, all time probably my freshman year. We were out in Soldier Hollow, and I probably wasn't having the best of the days, but I wasn't out of it. And it's freezing cold, but I just decided to pull off a good last couple string of holes. I think I went like birdie, eagle, birdie, birdie to finish it off in our state title, which is good. Kind of
for a freshman, I would believe so.
Exactly. And it's cool too. You look back and you know you can do that, and so it builds a lot of confidence in your game.
Right now, I'm with Jack Wright, who is a senior 3-time state champion with Park City men's golf. The time is over now. You're a senior, you're all done, but what was it like to play with this group of guys?
It was so fun. All 4 years I've been with this team, 3 of them being on the state team, and it was I had so much fun, a great group of guys. Nice to see and all the different seniors that had graduated when I was here, and just to be part of the legacy is something that's pretty huge.
Specific moment with Park City men's golf that just you will never forget?
I don't know. I mean, I think one of the highlights I would say that was really cool, obviously winning and getting the trophy this year was really cool. Not something, I mean, it's not really, that was different, but in a way it was, because it was my senior year. It was a little, emotional. I won't be with the team, but it was so cool to be with everyone smiling around, and considering I played pretty well the second day, I was pretty stoked about that. Had some cool shots, and I was just really happy for the team and happy for Murph and maybe the future.
So that was a look at the Park City High School men's golf team. Now, those kids have to be having a swagger about them that, I mean, they're the top dogs at the school, right?
They definitely knew that coming in that there was only one thing on their mind, and that was to win another state championship.
And what was it like covering it, man? I mean, did you become as good friends with them as you did the football guys?
So I got to know them a little bit later in the year, but the guys, they were really nice and really kind. And to know the story of the state tournament was awesome. So day one of the state tournament, I think they were almost a little too confident. They came in knowing that they were the best, and they did not shoot great. Some of their guys that were their leaders did not play as well. Like I was talking to Eli Kimchi, and he did not play the best first round. But they knew that if we want to get this done, we got to pick it up. We got to shoot really well on day 2 and win this championship to make it 11 straight.
I mean, again, 11 straight, they did it. That's insane. I can't really name anyone that's won 11 straight championships.
Yep.
And for Park City High School to say they're the ones who did it in our backyard.
Right across the street.
Literally right across the street from us. I mean, it's amazing.
Right, and congratulations to Dean Sandes, who actually won the state title for the lowest score shot. He shot under both rounds and was just the bringer of rain, I guess you could say, because he was just amazing. The whole year long, he was the leader, and it showed because his final scores in that state championship were very low. For those that don't know golf scores, you want low scores.
You want the negatives.
Yes.
All right, guys, so we're going to be wrapping up the show after this commercial break with a look forward to winter sports at Park City High School. So when we come back, we're checking out basketball and other winter sports activities at PCHS. Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for joining us on this PCTV Reports, where we are running down the hometown sports report. As you see right down below me, I'm your host, Conrad Jacobels. Well, we'll be with our guest host, co-host, Nick O'Kane, who's been covering the Park City High School sports all fall long. So
Yes, sir.
We looked back at the fall sports, and again, it was an exceptional, successful year at Park City High School.
Yeah, you could say that.
I
They
mean,
could
you
have
could say
done
that.
a little bit better. No, I'm just kidding. They were amazing. To have 4 teams go to a state semifinal and to even win a state championship, that's all you can ask for right there.
And then, again, to have your powerhouse, the men's golf, win 11 straight championships, it just cements your legacy.
100%. Congratulations to head coach George Murphy, because he's won all 11. So
Yeah,
he just keeps winning.
Congratulations to everyone at Park City High School for your sports achievements. Seriously, it's been amazing what you guys have done over there. I've been impressed watching Nick do the hometown sports report. And right now, we're going to be shifting over to winter, because we are moving into winter right now. And that means we got plenty more sports at Park City High School. What's some of the stuff we can look forward to, Nick, for this winter at Park City High School?
Basketball time. Park City is blessed to be coached by actually a former NBA player and former University of Utah running Ute, Mike Doliak. So we get an interview with him as well as Nathaniel Lowe, as he's going to give us a little talk about what people can expect about this season.
So let's go see what Nick was just talking about in these packages.
All right, and welcome back to the Hometown Sports Report. Right now, we are with head coach of the Park City men's basketball team, Mike Doliak. Mike, thanks for being on with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, I've talked to some of the guys. It's looking like there's some big things coming for this season and the men's basketball program.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've got a relatively young team that's returning. We started 4 sophomores and a freshman last year. So it looks like we'll have 4 juniors and a sophomore this year. So we're getting more maturity just by another year of growth. They've been playing together. They've been playing hard. You see behind us, open gym. This is just an opportunity for kids to come and play. So they're taking advantage of it. They're spending a lot of time working on their games. And so I'm super excited for how the season's going to go.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, that maturity comes with that gameplay. So when you have those 4 to 5 younger guys, it really shows down the line, too, when you get older in the season as well. All the leadership that comes with it as well. So, we're really excited to see how the boys do this year. Season will be starting very soon, correct?
Yeah, our tryouts are November 5th, and then our first game is on November 20th or 21st. We go down to Taylorsville, and then we'll be rolling pretty much every week from there till the end of February. So, yeah, season starts in full swing right after Thanksgiving.
All right, now we're with Nathaniel Lowe with Park City men's basketball. Nathaniel, welcome to the Hometown Sports Report.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Of course. Park City men's basketball, what are some things that people might not know about you guys going into this year's season?
I think we're going to be a lot better than most people expect. last year we had a really young lineup, and this coming year we have a lot of guys who are returning, and we just have a lot of experience on the team. And I mean, we're going to be a good program for the next couple of years. We got a lot of guys up under us too.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and that's a huge thing, especially when you are building a program, having the guys start young, come up. By the time they're junior, senior years, you're ready for that state title. So, we wish the best of luck to Park City men's basketball in this upcoming season. Season's going to start pretty soon here, right? Within less than a month?
Yep. First game, I think, is around November 20th.
Awesome, man. Well, we wish you the best of luck, and we can't wait to see more of you guys this year.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
So that was a look at the basketball team before they even started the season, which is underway right now.
Yes, it's currently underway. They won their season opener against Taylorsville, so they are currently on the run, getting going, and they've got a schedule coming up.
I mean, how are they looking this season? Again, we've said Park City High School has some powerhouses. They've had some underdog stories of football. Is basketball known to be their sport? Or
so talking to Mike, when I talked to him, he mentioned how the team is very young. Last year they started 4 sophomores and a freshman. Very rare for a high school varsity sport. But now when you look at it now, he's got 4 juniors and a sophomore that have all got great playing time. So right now he is thinking that those guys are going to really step up. Ben Lowe is a beast down low, so he's hoping, or sorry, Ben Haas, not Ben Lowe. Ben Haas is looking like he is going to be a beast for the Park City team this year.
I mean, and just, this year you said 4 sophomores and a freshman returning.
Yep.
And now that sets them up for the next couple of years.
Oh, they're going to be a great team this year as well as for next year.
So besides basketball, what other winter sports are taking place at Park City High School?
Of course, we have women's basketball going on. We have swimming as well as hockey. So, and all I know is I cannot wait to get out and cover some more Park City High School sports because I love sports.
And as Nick said, he will be covering it more this season. Don't worry. Just because the fall season's over with doesn't mean the hometown sports report with Park City High School is done with. He will be out at Park City High School covering all winter long. Anything that you're looking forward to for the winter season?
I'm just looking out to get out there and just see these athletes and these kids put their heart on the line, just keep going and picking each other up when they're down. And I love seeing all the team camaraderie and the spirit that the school has. So I'm excited for all of it.
And we got some exciting news here too, guys. If you've been enjoying the Hometown Sports Report on PCTV Reports, well, we will be changing times a little bit. We will be moving PCTV Reports, which is now going to be Street Views, at 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And Nick will still be part of the Hometown Sports Report on Street Views, so you can still catch him there just a little bit earlier, which isn't bad. It's going to be there bright and early in the morning. And then, of course, we're also going to be on K-Jazz.
Absolutely.
5 days a week, so your Hometown Sports Report is going to be seen all over Salt Lake City, too.
You're going to see this everywhere.
I mean, you got to see this everywhere, John. I'm sorry, but that makes up for it. Anyways, Nick, this was fun. Thank you so much for doing this, man. This was awesome just talking sports. And, I mean, we were talking about high school sports like it was professional sports, which is pretty amazing to say, especially in our backyard.
I love it.
So,
Nick,
Nick,
a blast.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
I enjoyed it. Guys, that's going to do it for Nick and I for PCTV Reports in this special episode of the Hometown Sports Report. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.